All right, here we are. Welcome,
Good
welcome.
morning.
Talk
Good
with
morning.
Northland Travel. I have two very special guests here today. First, I have Paula Templemeyer and a very special guest we're happy to have with us today is Darcy Malsby. We're going to get into talking about the trip going in August, adventures along the Lincoln Highway. And what is very unique about this tour is that you will have Iowa's Storyteller along for the ride. So, Darcy is an author. Hopefully, she'll talk a little bit about her book as well and the knowledge that she has, especially to share on this trip and with trip goers here. I'm kind of excited to hear about this trip again. I don't know if you two ladies caught the news this week. It would have been Channel 13. They actually did a little segment in the middle of the day talking about Jefferson and the bell tower. I'm thinking maybe a celebration is coming up here soon for
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
Bell Tower Festival. Yep.
Yes.
I caught a little bit about that, and that's a stop along the way for this tour. So it's going to be a great time. I am going to get out of the way and I'll let Paula and Darcy take over and tell you about this wonderful trip that will be going August 1st and 2nd of this summer. So take it away,
Correct.
Paula.
Okay. Well, we're going to start on a Tuesday, August 1st. We're going to pick up at selected points. And I should mention for this trip, our pickup points are limited. They're only Fort Dodge, Waterloo, and Williams because of the route we're taking to avoid a whole bunch of backtracking. But on Tuesday, we're going to get picked up and we're going to start this adventure in DeWitt, Iowa at the German House Barn. And Darcy will explain a lot about that when we're there. If you want to give them a little heads up, what is a house barn?
Yeah,
Darcy?
so people might be familiar with the German house barn in Manning. It's that same type of concept where this is a hundreds of year old barn with a thatched roof. It was relocated from Germany to Iowa. So you'll get to step inside the barn and experience the museum there. And this is all in Lincoln Park in downtown DeWitt. So it's a really fun, unique location. It's like a little bit of Europe here in Iowa.
Oh, good, good. And after there, we go over to Belle Plaine for lunch at the Lincoln Cafe. A lot of homemade food, it says, is prepared there.
Oh,
And
yes. If you like pie and roasted chicken, breakfast all day, it's just a great classic diner that's been there since the 20s, right on the Lincoln Highway. So there's something for everybody.
Oh, good, good. And then
Love
we'll head over.
Yeah.
We'll head over to the Belle Plaine Historical Museum, which has displays about the Lincoln Highway, the Chicago Northwestern Railway, and other local history. And also Preston Station in Belle Plaine. Darcy, what is that?
It's a little gas station. It's not in business anymore, but the lady who runs it now as a tourist destination, it was in her family for years and years, and her grandfather George Preston was one of the proprietors, and he was kind of a local storyteller, and he actually was so well known he was on Johnny Carson's show back in the 90s. So this little gas station is just like it's frozen in time. You will feel like you're stepping back into the 1950s when you step inside. So it's like a little time capsule.
Oh, good. Then we'll head on down the road to Tama to see the Lincoln Highway Bridge, built in 1914 and on the National Register Historic Places, right?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's a concrete bridge, but it's got the words Lincoln Highway built into the supports of the bridge. So people that love the Lincoln Highway from all across the country, this is one of those must-see destinations on the Lincoln.
Oh, good, good. Mm-hmm. And then we will head to Marshalltown to the Tremont on Main. We will have supper there. And we have an overnight stay there. And I should point out, there are only 3 rooms left. So if you're thinking about this trip, you need to be calling Rhonda. Call the office because there are only 3 rooms left. So,
well, and the Tremont is a special place, you know, in a world full of Super 8s and all these chain hotels. This is a boutique hotel. Its roots run very deep, decades old in Marshalltown. And Marshalltown is a place you'll want to explore and come back to if you like food. They've got great restaurants. They've got Zeno's Pizza, which has been there since the 50s. They've got a really fantastic Made Right restaurant and Lily Mae's chocolates. So definitely prepare to spend some time not only on this trip in Marshalltown, but come back and spend even more time.
well, any place that has chocolates is a place to go to, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely homemade chocolates.
Homemade chocolate. You can't beat it. So we overnight there. And then Wednesday, August 2nd, we get up. We'll have breakfast at the Tremont and head over to Jefferson. Jefferson has so many wonderful things to see. Our first stop will be the Mahaney Bell Tower. And from there, you can see the rooftop art. And I've seen that once. And it's just amazing that somebody even thought to do that.
Oh, I know. There's barn quilts. There's all kinds of beautiful artistry that shares the history of Greene County. So you will be very surprised at the view when you go up to the top of the bell tower.
Yeah. Now, not what one would have expected, that's for sure.
No.
Okay. Then we're going to head over to Thomas Jefferson Gardens. Hear the history of the gardens there, and lunch at the Centennial in Jefferson.
Yes. Those are both such great places of local community pride. So the gardens are really interesting because there's all these theme gardens within the Thomas Jefferson Gardens. It's on a reclaimed old gas station site, but you would never know it. And you can do everything from play musical instruments in the garden with these big outdoor chimes to learning about some ag history related to Thomas Jefferson. And then just kitty corner across the town square, the beautiful courthouse of Greene County is in the middle. And then on the other side is the Centennial, which this is a group of ladies in town who were very afraid that they were going to have yet another empty building in a small town. They pooled their money. They hired a local chef who was a Grand Junction girl, so a Greene County native. And this restaurant is just fantastic. You will love the food. You will love the atmosphere. It kind of blends the best of the old and the new. And do save room for the better than bell tower cake.
Ooh, yes, definitely. After lunch, it's back on the bus and we head down the road to the Dow House in Dow City, Iowa. It was built on 1872, I think. I saw it years ago.
Yes.
It's a different place, and how it matches up the walls and everything I thought was very interesting when we were there.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those unexpected little gems on the Lincoln Highway because it's a story of frontier settlement, but also a gentleman trying to save a marriage because he had a wife who was not enjoying frontier life in the 1870s. And he basically bribed her, if I build you your dream house, will you stay? And so she did stay. They built the dream house, and it's a beautiful Victorian style home. And you will love learning the history of this remarkable home.
And it was surprising to find it literally out in the middle of nowhere because Dow City is not a very big town. This is a very small town. So it's got a commanding view of the area. You can see the Lincoln Highway down below because it's up on a beautiful hill. So very fun day. Yeah. And after that, we keep heading west until we get to Council Bluffs to the Squirrel Cage Jail. It's a 3-story rotary jail, 1885. I'm interested in seeing this. I had never heard of this place.
Oh, yes. This is interesting on so many levels, whether you just like history, whether you're into ghost hunting. There is nothing in America like the Squirrel Cage Jail. So rotary cage is just what it sounds like. It's a 3-story building where the actual cells in the jail, they're like pie wedges, slices of pie, and they're on these 3 levels. And in the old days, that whole mechanism would turn, and that's how you would let prisoners in and out of their cells. They decommissioned this jail in 1969. It became part of the Historical Society. And there have always been reports that this place is haunted. And I actually did an interview with a guy who is on the board of directors with the Potawatomi County Historical Society. And he happens to be a Pot County deputy sheriff. So I thought if anyone would set me straight on whether this place is haunted or not, he would be the guy. And I think you'll be very surprised at what he had to say about the squirrel cage.
Well, I'm looking forward to checking that place out. And after that, we get back on the bus and we head back east and drop everybody back off at their pickup and drop-off spots. While we're on the bus, Darcy, you're going to be signing books for us?
I will. Everybody who signs up gets a copy of my latest book, The Lincoln Highway in Iowa. And I will also be sharing more stories of the Lincoln as we travel across the state. And because I'm an ag journalist by trade, I will also be sharing lots of little tidbits and stories about all the rural areas and farm country that you'll be seeing. So you kind of get 2 in 1 with this. You get the Lincoln Highway, and then you just get a lot of good general Iowa stories too.
Plus, we get a lot of good food.
Yes, the food will be fantastic.
So once again, this is Tuesday, August 1st and Wednesday, August 2nd. Let me find the prices here. $6.99 per person, double occupancy. $799 if you want a single room. And there are only 3 rooms left. So be sure you get a hold of the office. Call Rhonda at 877-694-8687. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Get in touch with Northland Travel and get signed up because this is going to be an exciting trip. And it'll be different because we don't normally have an author with us as we go along to actually explain what it is we're seeing in that. So it's great to have the guide right there with us the whole time. So we really appreciate your coming along on this, Darcy.
Oh, well, thanks, Paula. It will be fun to share stories of even some of the sites we won't get to see that day, but they're in the book. And I really hope that people get inspired to come back and do their own day trips on the Lincoln Highway.
Yes, definitely. We've all driven it, just don't pay attention to the name lots of times.
That's right. Highway 30. If you've ever been on that, you have probably been pretty darn close to the Lincoln Highway.
I grew out in western Nebraska, and we traveled from Omaha out to North Platte before the interstate, and we were on the Lincoln Highway.
On the Lincoln, yes, because, this was the first transcontinental highway built or designated, I should say, in 1913, went all the way from New York City and Times Square out to Lincoln Park in San Francisco, and Iowa was in the heart of this. And essentially, this laid the groundwork for what we know now as the interstate highway system.
Definitely.
So Iowa was just in the heart of some tremendous American history here, thanks to the Lincoln Highway.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And I was just going to, mention again, this is such a unique trip because, there will be such a wealth of knowledge that's shared throughout the trip. I think, unfortunately, sometimes we take advantage of the state that we live in. And, hopefully this quick 2-day trip is going to rejuvenate or maybe you'll learn some things that you had no idea of. And that's going to be the fun of it. So as Paula said, definitely excited to have you joining this trip, Darcy. We thank you for your time in that as well. As Paula said, check out this trip and all the others that are available. You can look at northlandtravel.com. You can download the itinerary, read and check it out yourself. And again, the number's down below if you'd like to give Rhonda a shout and get signed up. Not to be pushy, but the rooms are going. So make sure you get before you miss out. So
yes.
Thanks for joining us today. Thank you to wonderful ladies for being here as well. And we definitely look forward to seeing the trip or the pictures from this trip. So
yes, looking forward to it.
Yes, it'll be great. Come join us. Thank you.
Definitely.